Yes. Yeah, I'm good. Now I jump into the main screen because now I can see you. Before I did not see you because I was
Hey, good to see you, Blanca.
good to see you as well. I mean, like, I booked my ticket about the self-love, but
Yes.
I want that you share in my Facebook group with the lovely ladies in
Yes.
the Clinketly what is it about and how it can actually help them. Is there any connection between self-love and how we then feed ourselves, for example?
Wow, I absolutely love that question. And I would be delighted to share this with your groups. So we are offering a 2-day festival of juicy offerings from the 27th to 28th of March. So it's coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole range of activities, of sessions, ranging from meditation to yoga to discovering the goddess within, a creativity session or two, so much on offer. And what's at the very heart of the festival is this, this intention that me and my co-leaders have, that when we elevate our own self-love and celebrate that with other women or other people that identify as feminine, then we elevate that globally and we make it a bigger thing and we make it okay to love ourselves. And actually, we fundamentally believe that when we fill our own cup, you know, when we actually offer ourselves love and honor ourselves and care for ourselves full on, unapologetically, unconditionally, then we're able to give to others in so much more meaningful ways. And actually, just to add to that, the crazy times that we're in right now, you know, they're really calling us to deepen into relationship with ourselves. And I think we're all learning, and we have done in this last year, that if we don't go inside and ask ourselves, you know, what do I need? What does my energy need today? What do I need to be able to show up fully? Then we have nothing. So yeah, what's at the heart of this project, of this festival, is the conviction and belief that we really have to love ourselves without condition before we're able to fully give to another. And that when we honor that, great things can happen for others in our lives as well as for ourselves.
And you know, so it's really, really nice interaction because you know, when we hear this like self-love, you should like love yourself. We hear it everywhere. It's almost like a kitsch
Yeah.
word now, and then people cannot really imagine what it is self-love. So we introduced it now nicely that you have to ask yourself questions. But for all of this, you know, I believe like learning something on your own is not so productive, and that's why I always like to have somebody who is 2 steps ahead of me, so
Right.
like you,
Yeah.
because you learn this from somebody and then
Yes.
you are passing the knowledge to others. And also, even if I, for example, know about self-love and I think that I love myself,
Yeah.
in festivals and in places like this I can still discover that there is maybe like another angle that I can take and another like approach to self-love. So all these
Absolutely.
questions that you ask yourself and the rituals, like, so you will maybe even introduce to us like some rituals how to do it for a busy person, because everybody says,
Yeah.
I'm just so busy. I
Yeah.
dedicate all my time to kids and
Yeah.
family and work, and I don't have time for self-love. And they imagine self-love only, I don't know, it might be like a bubbly bath, but what else can be self-love? What are the ways?
I love what you bring up there, and especially what you're saying around ritual, because I think it can feel like a bit of a scary concept somehow, like, oh gosh, how do I offer myself this self-love thing? Am I allowed? What does it look like? Is it going to take up an hour? I haven't got an hour, you know, I've got
Yeah.
to do the washing, got to take my kids somewhere, you know. And what I found on a personal level is it doesn't have to take time. It's actually more around having an intention.
Uh-huh.
And what I also find is the way I start my day is crucial to how it's going to unfold. So even just when I wake up in the morning, taking one moment, 1 minute to place my hand on my heart space, to close my eyes and just to take, you know, a couple of breaths into myself and to ask myself, where do I want to come from today? What's the energy I want to come from? And actually locking that in and actually promising to myself that that's the intention that I'm going to hold, whatever, you know, happens during the day. That for me is a very powerful way of loving myself, knowing
Mm-hmm.
actually what it is I want for this day and intending to come from there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, life pans out as it does, right? We have no control over that.
Yeah.
So setting an intention does not help you control the day. But what it helps me to do is to know that I have somewhere to return back to. If I get blown off course by, a difficult meeting or,
Yeah.
something that's just in my path, I can choose to come back to that intention,
Mm-hmm.
and to come from that energy again. So for me, a lot of loving myself is around choosing the energy I want to be in,
Mm-hmm.
and choosing the tone, the feel, and what's important about my day,
Mm-hmm.
um, and honoring myself in that process. And I want to say here, actually, Blanca, I love your question. Of course, I don't always get this right. I'm a human being. I fuck up all the time. Excuse me
Yeah.
for swearing on your live broadcast, but it was needed. And yeah, like we are messy, imperfect human beings, and we get loving ourselves wrong as well.
Yeah.
And every day it looks a little bit different. So I guess what I want for anybody that I'm speaking to on this topic is that they're very kind with themselves, and that they are aware that this might change by day to day what's needed, and that what self-love looks like, say for you, Blanca, today could be completely different for what it looks like to me, and
Yeah.
that's all okay. um, and yeah, just that openness and curiosity to experience, that's what comes to me, and so many other things when you
Yeah,
ask
I
me
mean,
that, but I could like
yeah,
speak
exactly.
for an hour.
Like, I would react to every sentence then you say, like, and I would have something to say to it. So what I, for example, laughed, like when you said, it's okay to be like different, because so often I see that somebody says, but the society tells us to be like this, and we should do this. This word should, right?
Yeah.
No, you do what feels right for you, and that's what you teach people, just to be themselves, that authenticity. And even when people look at you, like the colors around you, the makeup that you choose, because you choose it. And I have to say, like, I saw you for the first time on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh my goodness, she has like strange makeup. It is like, because again, it's not what everybody else is doing, right?
Right.
But it draw my attention to you. So then I started like watching your videos, and it energized me. It gave me, like, it sent a message for reflection.
Yeah.
And I was like, so this is really, really good. I will follow this woman. And then I found you on Facebook, because you have this group. Is it, so you have like a podcast, you actually do many things, right? So
Yes.
I don't know if we will be able to cover them all. So you have amazing podcast. It's called Untamed Femininity. Am I right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I heard some episodes, and they all speak to me. So for example, one of them is about into me see,
Yes.
intimacy, right? And people don't read it like, when they read intimacy, everybody just imagines, okay, intimacy is with a partner, right?
Yeah.
But intimacy, into me see,
Yes.
when you write it like this, and then when you listen, when I listen to the podcast, right, it just again opens your eyes. Would you like to say, for example, even something about this episode, because it's nice, right?
Well, thank you. Yes, we love our podcasting. My co-leader, co-host Magena, and I just absolutely love sharing everything that we've learned on our inner leadership journey, which we went through with CTI, the Coaches Training Institute. And intimacy was one of our favorites. And again, it's a little bit back to the self-love thing, really. It's about taking time to go inside and be with self. And again, there's lots of judgment around that, isn't there? Around, is that self-indulgent? Should I be doing other things? I'm meant to show up in all these roles. Who am I to spend half an hour with myself and just be with me? And yet, who are you not to? It is so vital that we have relationship with ourselves. It's the starting point for everything. And so when we were recording the intimacy episode, what I remember from that episode was just this full permission to speak from the inside out, and to connect with spirit, to connect with soul, to connect with heart, and from that place to voice out our truth. And you know, the knowingness that when we honor this process and when we are speaking from that authentic place in ourselves, it is courageous, it is vulnerable, it's bloody scary sometimes, and it's what enables us to connect to other. When we show up as our real selves in all of our mess, in our tears, in our laughter, in our genuine emotion and experience, other people see us. And what you were saying about my videos, yeah, I'm a fan of crazy makeup, crazy clothes. I'm a complete eccentric, you know, as well as many other things. And yeah, that's who I am. And I let people see that, you know, and what I'm told often is that that's how they connect, because they see something that's real, and it's sometimes hard, and it takes courage to show up as we are in life, because
and you know, I really like it. And even that, for example, because we always have some like lovers, supporters, and then haters. There are people that will like, you know, because it doesn't resonate with them, they will tell you, and you have to be like true to yourself and accept it and all of this. But you know, that would be another topic. But there was one more thing that I wanted to say, like, you basically are a fast energy. You say so many things that even my brain, you know, cannot like catch and react to everything. But yeah, so about intimacy, because you know, we have this course, it's called Eat Clean Get Lean, and in week 4 we actually talk about taboo topics. It is about bloating, farting, constipation, you know, diarrhea. And of course, for example, even on LinkedIn, or, you know, we are all professionals and we put some mask on us. We don't want to show to somebody that, yeah, we suffer with bloating, with constipation, that we are farting. And it actually has impact on our social life and emotional and mental well-being, because that is a real torture. And in this week, I also brought up topic of dysfunctional pelvic floor muscles and anal sphincter. Yeah. So nobody really talks about it, but it is connected with intimacy. And again, people are, or ladies, women, men, are not intimate with themselves, right? They don't squeeze or engage the pelvic floor muscle. That actually is not only about, for example, elimination of the stool, but even sexuality, right? So one of your topic is sexuality and being sensual, feeling feminine. And for me, like, feeling feminine, if your pelvic floor muscle and your anal sphincter and your digestion works well, you have this like power and you actually feel more sensual, playful, feminine. Do you have like any topic or anything that you would want to say about this?
Oh, yeah, I love this topic. And what really strikes me about what you say is feeling feminine, feeling sensual. And for me, honestly, Blanca, that is at the heart of this whole thing. Again, yes, okay, you know, it can feel great to dress up nicely, to wear nice clothes, to put on nice makeup, and that can really help us to feel sensual and sexy. And for me, in my experience, it comes from the inside out. You know, feeling sexy, feeling sensual, it doesn't look a certain way. It starts, like you say, in those pelvic muscles, in the root chakra, in the sacral chakra, in being in your body, in touching your own skin, in allowing your senses to be fully open, in enjoying that, in self-pleasure, in everything that connects you to yourself in a expressive and intimate way. So I guess what I want to underline and what I love about your share is that sensuality, sexiness starts on the inside. And again, we have to take time to know what that is, you know, for us. And that's another way of us being able to show up fully in partnership, in a physical relationship with other. So there is a journey to go on, and I'm kind of rubbing my hands together here. It's a delicious journey. To speak from my own experience, you know, I'm a huge fan of tantra, which is a massage that involves erotic touch, and really, you know, getting in very close contact with your sensual sexual energy, in service of radiating and being the, you know, amazing essence that you are in your life outside. Oh, what a journey that's been. And when you were talking about the pelvic muscles, one part of the training that I did over summer in a tantric course was actually just that, focusing, being with the legs raised and the pelvis tilted, and then squeezing those muscles back and forth, and then feeling the energy that rises. They call it in tantra, in sky dancing, the inner flute from the pelvis up through the body, up through and out of the head, and then allowing it to come back down, and actually getting into connection with that flowing energy in us that really wants us to show up in our full radiance once we are connected to it. So yeah, I mean, you're going to have to stop me here, Blanca, because get me on the topic.
It's a really nice topic, because I'm a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
So even like in yoga, it's very important, like knowing how to engage all the muscles. So me, because like I teach yoga, I practice like daily.
Right.
Pelvic floor. But you know, this is a subject, and people again say like, I don't have time to do it. But how much time does it actually take to consciously, because it's about being conscious, right? You can even boil the kettle, like preparing your tea, and you can still like tap into this energy and being aware of it. But you know, one more topic that I would want to bring, when you were talking, it just comes to me now. How do you know, like when like your inner master is talking to, because there is such a difference between like intuition and like intellect. We are so much driven by like what we do and what the head is telling us. And actually my guru, my yoga teacher, is going to talk to us next week. Ooh. And she has a full module on this, but I want to hear from you as well. So how do you know the intuition, the inner master talking to?
You ask great questions, and it's another one of my favorite topics. So as a creative leadership coach, you know, I'm working a lot with my intuition in service of my amazing clients. And what I'd like to speak to is how I experience my own intuition. Mm-hmm. And what I also want to say is that I believe for every woman and man out there, it comes in a slightly different way. And so again, we have to get to know that voice in us. And part of it is receptivity, actually being open to what wants to come through in terms of wisdom. I believe we're all channels of a greater wisdom. And you know, I have a deep belief in spirituality, but I don't think you necessarily have to have that belief to know that, you know, you can receive wisdom. And for me, what often happens when I'm with a client is that I'm in a very, very receptive place physically, and my heart space is open. And I often hear like a little simple phrase. It could be a proverb or a saying or a word or an adjective. It could be anything. And I've learned that it is always the right thing to do with the client. This is to blurt that word or phrase aloud, because I don't know where it came from, and that's why I trust it. It's when I don't know and it's coming that I trust it the most, because it's coming from the outside of me. And of course, there are times when it just doesn't land for the client and it's like, I'm not sure. What it always does is it gives them information that they can respond to. And it's not information that's come from my head. Like, I don't have a plan for my clients, like, you need to do this. Like the coaching space is a very open one where I'm inviting people into a deeper part of themselves through my being and through the space that we create together. And so this intuition part, it's often coming to me through hearing, sometimes through visual. Sometimes I get like I see something and then I describe that and I ask to the client, does that mean anything to you? And then, you know, we connect from that place. And what really helps me to stay grounded in my intuition is my body. So all the work that I do with the tantra, with creative movement, actually just before this call, I put 5 minutes of music on because I just had a little bit of space, and I was, you know, getting in my body and dancing and connecting with myself. And when I'm in that, like when I'm drawn to my hands for some reason, but when I feel all of my extremities, all of my physical being, and I'm in real contact with my whole system, then this wisdom, this intuition, let's say, is coming through naturally. And what I find is when I try to understand it, or I try to have a plan, or be over structured or over controlling, you know, then I lose the connection to it. And it's actually why when we briefly connected before this call, I didn't really want to have a great you know, plan for this discussion even, because I trust fully that, you know, what needs to be said and brought forward is just going to come in this space. So maybe that's the last thing. I know this is quite a long-winded answer. Trust with a big fat capital T.
Yeah. I mean, there's again so many. Do you know, like we just discovered that we are both Aries, right? And Aries, so you have the 4th of April, so you are going to have birthday just before me, and I'm 6th of April.
Yes.
And you know, our energy is enormous. So when we have a conversation, it's just so much of it. Luckily, this is going to be recorded. People can listen to it like more, because there is so many questions that ladies will have, and like it will come to them. And even like I would need you for 3-4 hours to like go into details, because everything that you say I would want to know more. But because I know like you don't have that much time, I want to know, as a coach, you know, if there are any ladies, and now because it's about chemistry, it's about connection, and they feel like, you know, I feel the chemistry with Sam. Yes. And I believe she's the right person to help me tackle my problem. And I feel that I can open my heart to her because I can trust her. I don't have to have any mask, you know, and look, I am like better or whatever. I can be vulnerable and, you know, talk about like my intimate problems, issues, what tortures me deeply inside, because she can tune into me. And she can help me to like navigate through it, find a plan, or like open my eyes, have the conversation, right? What are your topics? What clients, how can they reach you? How, like, what can you help them with?
Gosh, so loads of questions in that. So as a coach, I love my work. For me, when I say work, I mean, it definitely is my work. And yeah, I always want to do this because it's something where I'm just like so in love with what I do that I'm so deeply grateful to do this work. And as for people I help, well, I can tell you what people tell me, and maybe that's a good place to start from. So people are coming to me often to get back in contact with their authenticity. That won't surprise you. To express themselves, to uncover the raw. There's a lot of women out there that have got lots of layers on top of them with the roles that they're in, you know, and many of these we choose, let's face it. Some of them we don't really feel like we do. And they need breathing space, and they want to feel seen. They want to feel heard. And they want to know themselves again. And not only that, but they want to know that wild, free, expressive, authentic, passionate part of them. And so through my work, I'm kind of an expert in that, you know, I'm an expert in helping women to get past those layers and to allow that free, liberated, expressive, joyful, and energetic part of themselves have space again. And it can come through many topics, right? Like when clients come to me, they might have an overall big topic for the sessions. I work in 8 session packages.
Okay, 8 sessions. Yeah, because that's what I was actually going to ask as well. Because me, as a nutritional therapist, because it's a therapy, I also cannot fix someone's problem in 1 session, right? It needs more sessions. So you have 8 sessions, perfect. And it's like 60 minutes or like, or also there is like no time limit, or how is it?
So we work in 8 session packages. There's 1 session usually every 2 weeks. So there's a little bit of time for the learning to land in between the sessions. So I work via Zoom. There's 60 minutes, or out in nature. So people in the Basel area often come to Dornach, where I live, and we do it outside alongside the River Beers, because nature has such amazing resources.
I can imagine
the river's flowing. Authenticity is showing. And I'm going to get poetic. Actually, I might share a poem at the end of this, if you will allow me. And yeah, so basically that's one coaching experience, eight sessions of 60 minutes. And how people find me is often actually through Facebook and through personal interactions. And yeah, you had another question. Can you remind me? There was something else you asked, and I.
Yes, I have many questions. So my head is spinning. So, like now, just to cover Facebook, because you also have a Facebook group. Would you like to say name of the Facebook group?
Yes. So me and my lovely co-leader Migena are leaders of the Untaming Femininity Facebook tribe. It's called the Untaming Femininity tribe. We have now 776 members in our tribe. We post every day, so it's quite an active group. And again, it's women coming together because we believe that untamed women are real and powerful. And you know what? It's just all about like diversity of being women, you know, busting away those myths of this is how a woman looks, this is how a woman should be. It's actually us being able to show up slightly different all the time. And in our different colors and our different forms, and celebrating the diversity of femininity. And in actual fact, that's also very much at the heart of the festival taking place in a couple of weekends' time that you're coming to, and I'm so excited.
Yes. So can you remind us what, for example, like more into the topics about this self-love like festival? What is the aim? Because people like to know what's in it from me, what will I learn, and how it's going to change my life, right? It's like corporate thinking of this. So
I love it. There was a real like whip you were cracking there, Blanca. So what women will get from, and people that identify as feminine will get from attending our festival is connection to their wild feminine spirit, full permission to love themselves, to celebrate that love in a public space of female solidarity. There will be connection to creativity. There will be opportunities to explore yourself creatively and to come away with some takeaways from some of those sessions too.
So is it going to be like even like workshop, or is it just like a presentation, a speaker?
So we have like, there's something like 8 or 9 speakers altogether. So maybe, I don't know whether you might want to share the program just so people in your group.
So I will share the link. I will share the link in my group, but you know, people don't have time to read. They want to hear it from you.
Yes, of course. So we have one session on discovering the goddess within. So that is led by a dear friend of mine and one of the creators of the festival, Janet, who's also an amazing yoga teacher, spiritual guru, and many other things. And so she'll be leading us more deeply into that goddess within and how it looks for us. So I'm super excited about that session. There's another session called The Dance of Joy by another dear friend, coach, an amazing dance expert, Ekaterina. And that is going to really be like full permission to move to the joy within. And wow, you're going to come away from that feeling.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, you know.
Oh gosh, there's so many. I think another one that's really interesting actually is by my other co-creator, my much loved co-leader of the Untaming Femininity tribe, Migena. And she's doing a session on, it's called Taming the Inner Critic.
Inner critic.
You know that voice,
that's a big topic, right? That's a big topic.
You know, like, because a lot of people, their barrier to self-love is that voice that tells them they can't, they shouldn't, they ought to, they must, all of these conditions. And so her session is going to be about, you know, getting away from that voice, acknowledging it's there, and moving into a place of greater choice, of greater empowerment, and of greater agency in your life. So it's really going to be about self-realization and choosing the higher self, choosing the dream, choosing the vision, you know, and moving away from those limiting voices. My gosh, there is a session on reclaiming and healing by the amazing Leilani. I'm going to forget some of the sessions now. We have a male coming in, and his session is around what the fuck can an alpha male tell us about and associated with femininity. He's amazing, and he's going to share his personal journey. We have a keynote speech on what is femininity, so we 3 creators will be leading that one, which will open the whole 2 days, and so much more. There are
what is your session? What your energy will be giving us what?
So I am leading creating from self-love. So in my session, I don't want to give too much away here.
I know. I would want to know it already now. Like, I'm impatient, Aries.
Sure. So there's going to be some visualization. There is going to be a lot of going inside, and there is going to be the opportunity to create something tangible from that process. So there's going to be some writing involved in it. Wow. And you're going to be surprised, because stuff's going to come out and it's going to take a shape that you maybe didn't anticipate. Wow. For the session. So yeah, stay curious.
Basically, that inner master will be speaking to us, and we will just write it, and then we can reread it and like make sense out of it, right?
Pretty much. Wow. You've got it. And I'm leading another session called Ignite Your Creative Fire, which won't surprise you, because, you know, I'm an Aries, I'm a fire sign just like you. I'm full of fire and passion. And what I love, and again, this feeds a lot into my work as a creative leadership coach, is getting people in contact with their fire. You know, I think, like, as women, we get frightened about our fire. We think we need to tame it. We think we need to keep it in check. We think it may not be pretty or well received or liked or loved or wanted. And yes, it fucking is. And actually, when we allow it to have some space and to have its expression, we light up, you know, and people feel our warmth and our passion and our energy, and it creates magic in our lives. And so that session is around helping women to create magic from
I'm so much looking forward to that. I'm totally excited.
I'm so excited to have you there. And just to pick up on one thing you were saying around my work as a coach. So what I think I want to say is that I don't fix anyone, and nor do I think I should or could. So one thing that's at the heart of who I am as a coach is actually helping people to see themselves. And I'm seeing my clients with my heart, and it's a very vulnerable space to be in, you know, and that's where the courage comes. And that's what's important for me, for people listening to this to know, is that when we allow ourselves to be seen, then that's where the transformation takes place. And especially when we're being seen from somebody's heart. So I just wanted to kind of underline that part of my work.
And it's very, very, very nice. And would you like to finish
yes
our lovely talk with some poem, with some words that will stick with us, that we can reflect about
I would
today?
And actually, I have a poem that I'd love to read you. And I'd like to say, if you are interested in hearing our podcast, the Untaming Femininity podcast, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on Anchor.
I have you on Spotify.
Yes, there you go.
On Spotify, I love it. Yeah.
And do spread the word with other ladies, you know, and let us know what you think. The more we know, the more we grow. Yeah. That's how it goes. And we just love our podcasting. So really always super grateful for feedback on all of that. Okay, so my poem is called Untamed Femininity. Courageous, soft and wild and free, my untamed femininity. It's stripy, quirky, fun and deep. It longs and hopes and smiles and weeps. It's feisty, flirty, bold and shy. It's my expression through my eyes. Playful, joyful and perceptive. It's sensitive and so receptive. Sometimes it dances, then it's still. For sure, it has its own free will. It won't be boxed. It hates cliches. Can't tell it what to do or say. It messes up, it gets it right. It's yin and yang. It's dark and light. It blurts things out. It loves to laugh. It sometimes suffers on its path. A ray of sunshine and a storm. Each day, a slightly different form. It's vulnerable. And yes, it shows. So full of life, it almost glows. Free-spirited and loves connection. It celebrates its imperfection. It knows its truth. It feels its pain. It falls down and gets up again. It keeps revealing more to me, a ribbon of infinity. It's how the fuck it wants to be. My untamed femininity.
So nice. It just really captures the life as it is, right? Up and down, up and down. It's so it speaks to me. Oh, I would be really emotional now.
Yay! And you know, here's to all of the colors, all of the shades, all of the ups and downs, all of the changes, all of the things that we are. We're not just one thing. We're so many.
And
when
that's what makes the life beautiful, isn't it? Right? Just when we look back and the memories, like how we were up and down and how we got up and moved forward, and with the support of lovely people like you, that we are in it together, and then it's normal to fall and normal to get up again and just keep moving. It was so nice and so melodic. Yeah. Is it written somewhere? Can we read it?
Yeah, I'll send it to you if you like.
Yeah, if you can share it, because it's so nice. Really,
yeah,
so
my
nice.
my pleasure. I have to go now.
Yeah,
I love talking to you.
So
it's been great.
So let's say thanks to everybody who watched us.
Yes.
Yeah. And hopefully see everyone in a Love Festival on the 27th of March.
27th, 28th of March. I'll send you all the details. Wouldn't it be great if you could just add them in? We'd absolutely lovely to have you there. And if you do want to reach out and ask about coaching with me, feel free as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.